Yes,
Yeah?
I'm ready.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, well, my name's Lindsey, and I'm here with Peroxide Youth.
Be what?
Oh, yeah. Get all ghetto in this shit. Anyway, so, I'm gonna ask them a couple questions about their music and a little bit about other things, too. So, first couple of questions are gonna be about lyrics. Like, how do you feel about themes of like resistant culture in your music and expressing in your like lyrics, and what does like inspire you to like write those kind of songs?
Yeah, this one for Gary.
Yeah.
Okay. So much pressure. But, just pretty much growing up in urban environments, like I guess like me personally, like we went over this last time.
Yeah.
But just like growing up in an apartment building with single mother-headed households, prostitutes outside, tagging ghetto bird helicopters like every other month, you know. So it's kind of like, I guess, an urban struggle, and I'd like to write lyrics that like, I guess, make people aware of these environments, but was still able to like motivate people to do more with what they have presented to them. So it's not just like totally like gloomy, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that you're talking about Mi Batalla.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's like one example that you can use.
Yeah.
That's like reflective of that.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely really like that song actually. Se olvidaron. What about that song?
So much pressure, but yeah, I put an asterisk on that lyric thing, but I guess that song is directed towards, I guess, like neo-conservatives like Mitt Romney, Meg Whitman, and I guess Lou Dobbs, who have like really xenophobic ideas towards illegal immigration, but these are the same people who are trying to, I guess, hire people to mow their lawns so they clean their houses. So it's like, why would you have such, I guess, oppressive foreign policy, but at the same time rely on them to do everything that you need to do? So it's kind of like a hypocritical take on, I guess, American culture. So
Yeah. The dependency, for sure.
yeah, but that's not to say that every person who is conservative thinks like that. You know, that's why it's like directed specifically towards people like that, like neoconservatives. So.
Anything else you guys want to say about like or anything? Chris?
Well, just like, yeah, well, I just get it. Like, it's like se olvidaron means like they forgot, like
Yeah.
in English. So it's like pretty much, yeah, like it makes sense to have like that title, because
They seem to have forgotten that. I guess like in what was it, the 1600s, when there was like a large immigrant European migration, they weren't really welcomed by native peoples again. But you fast forward, I guess, like 400 years later, they've already made policy where they're like, okay, we don't want people from Central America or Mexico coming in here. And it's like, you seem to have forgotten that you weren't welcome here in the first place, so why would you reciprocate the same kind of feeling
Yeah,
towards immigrant people?
Everyone except Native Americans like
Yeah.
came here, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
one way or another. But yeah, like I don't
Yeah.
like Ethan and I, like we don't really speak Spanish, so but like we grew up listening to like, you know, music with very similar themes, so it was just very, you know, like one more way to express that. So just like, you know,
Like different bands, like what you guys like. What bands are an example of?
well, I mean, like early casualties for me. I think the first like Spanish punk song I listened to was like Mierda Mundial or whatever.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, saying that
Yeah.
right.
and Chaos Punks.
Yeah, Chaos
Chaos
Punks.
Punks.
Yeah, so like all that early casualties. Yeah, early
Chaos
Unseen,
Punks.
A Global Threat, like
Yeah.
all the like street punk bands of the '90s, probably the biggest
Yeah,
influences.
for sure. So why do you guys cover the Partisans, Killing Machine?
Chris.
Okay, well,
This goes back to the freshman year.
yeah, like
So that
Couple
nobody
years ago.
knows what we're playing.
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
well, I got the idea. I brought up Cooper. Cooper, like, no, he likes the Partisans too, so he's like, pretty much
Yeah.
got along with it. But went along with it. But I got the idea because there's this one local band from like sort of my hometown, from La Puente, called Destructive Bastards, and they covered that song, Killing Machine. I remember watching that video, and I was just like, you know, sort of blown away about the whole like the underground street punk scene that was going on during the time. And yeah, that was just like one of the, and they were like one of the like the biggest influences like within like local bands. It was Destructive Bastards and Revolt and Destroy, like from LA.
La Puente.
area, sort of. So every time I would just like watch videos of him because I wouldn't be able to like go to shows because like my parents were always dicks, you know, just like
Yeah.
you know, and
Just
like,
one Pepsi.
Your parents.
a lot of the older bands we liked them too, or like I guess older now, like the Casualties and like all those guys, like the Partisans, and it's just a
Yeah.
fun song to play. Like
Yeah.
it's
The old school,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
English punk.
yeah.
A little bit
They're
more
like
pogo
I
stick.
guess
Oi,
they're like pre UK '82, right?
Yeah,
And then-
I mean, like any of the bands that we're playing with most of the time don't
yeah, and the
Street punk
crowds.
and Oi,
seem
yeah.
to listen to.
Yeah, they
anything
don't-
like
they
that.
don't
Yeah,
know.
how do you guys feel actually about being like a part of a scene that is not really like, I wouldn't say that it's not welcoming, like it's just that it's different, like the
Yeah.
consistency of it is leaning towards like crust
And
or
sludge.
like
Yeah.
sludge, black metal, like,
Yeah,
or
hippie
just
punks.
kind of like, I have no idea what punk is doing nowadays, but
Oh,
it
yeah,
has
yeah.
something, I don't know
A
what
little
to
bit more
describe,
atmospheric.
but
Yeah, now it seems that everybody's all about scrams.
Which I'm okay with.
But
yeah,
yeah,
I
it was
like
like
it.
Yeah.
sludge to scrams now. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to call it clicky, but you like definitely have to know people to even have somewhere to play.
Yeah.
And even if you know people, there's still not always somewhere to play, and so that's frustrating, I guess.
One of the things I do like about the scene though is like I was saying to Chris earlier, like all of the people here who play shows, or at least a lot of the people, are trying really hard to put on shows. I feel like in places, I mean, I've never lived in LA or anything, but it seems like in bigger cities there's more venues that are like, okay, we haven't really heard of you, but you can play on this show, you know, and open up for nobody or whatever. But here it's like, it's kind of hard to get locked into the scene at first. If you go to like UCSC, you have to like, you know, just kind of like talk to random strangers like this
Yeah,
guy.
you have to meet the right
But yeah,
person.
like people really, you know, people have house shows and they save up money to book the 418, and it's just like, I don't know. It's
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
definitely weird though, because we grew up thinking punk is like, you know, like anarcho punk and street punk and UK82, and then we just come here and it's just like people are calling like crust and sludge punk, and
Yeah.
besides Osra, and I don't really listen to
yeah,
crust.
before
Maybe
coming
Nuts
here,
Bomb
before
goes.
coming here, I've never seen like literally never seen a crust punk.
Yeah, I mean, it
Before
was
coming
like
here, I've never seen a
it's
crust
like-
punk.
No, same here actually. I
Dude,
had,
this-
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Then I ended
Yeah.
up like
Yeah.
being indoctrinated into like, so it's like now it's like I'm an awkward hybrid of like
Yeah.
street and crust, and
Mhm.
like people like look at me and they're like, are you from
Don't
LA?
categorize it.
Like, because they see the
Yeah.
painted leather and the studs, and they're
Yeah.
like, okay, but then they see like my side pouch or like the dental floss on
Yeah.
like earthy colored clothing and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and they're like, I don't know.
Hanging out with Jamie.
I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
What
but,
are you?
Yeah,
I'm whatever you want me to be.
it was really cool going to like San Jose. There's like a huge street punk scene there.
Yeah.
Like I only played
Yeah.
there one show, but people were just going off. Like
Shout out to
it's a
Bernadette.
big house. Like, yeah, seriously, like it was great. I was like, oh, there's like more than one person here with a mohawk. This is
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you know,
like-
this is like nice to see people that like, you know, I feel like here
Back
if
in
you wear like a
civilization.
Casualty shirt, it's like, you know, like
Yeah.
Blast
people
Zone
are
or
like,
something.
they suck.
Yeah, just because
like-
you haven't listened to any '90s,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
why.
And
Like,
they didn't play here because of their hairdresser.
and you're
there.
15, so you
Yeah.
like don't remember them being. You
I was
know,
like, yeah, I remember when I listened to them when I was like 13. Or
Yeah,
something. They're gonna like
yeah.
give you that shit.
Yeah.
yeah, it's like,
Yeah, and here in Santa Cruz, because there aren't any venues that really let you know, local bands who haven't played very much play, it's a constant struggle of trying to find a house that isn't going to get rolled by the cops, or at least is going to have some time,
Yeah.
because nobody wants to get fined either.
Yeah.
So you have to find somebody with enough balls to
To throw a show.
To
Be
actually.
strategic
to
about throwing a show.
risk getting
Yeah.
fined, I
But
guess.
yeah, I mean, even
So-
you know, all the houses that have given us shows, and like
Mhm.
going to play like the Fella House for the second time now.
Yeah.
It's like we really appreciate people that put on shows. Like
Yeah.
it's always awesome. Like,
And
Yeah.
places come and go too, which
Yeah.
kind of sucks.
Max
but-
House,
so
like-
you have to
Yeah.
always
Pioneer.
like
Yeah.
pay attention to what the next thing
Yeah.
is, I guess, because
Yeah, it seems like you're
since I
always-
first came here,
yeah.
a lot of those places don't even.
like if you
make
can't
shows
throw
anymore.
a show at your own house, it's always kind of hard to get them. It feels like, but
Well,
people put in the
it
effort
has
in
something
it.
to do with like the cops and stuff like that.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
guys-
Yeah.
the cops are a huge part
Like
of it. Yeah.
they
It's not-
like
it's not just
actually
people.
keep track of like how many noise complaints that you actually get.
Yes.
So But let's talk about cops.
Let's.
Like, you guys have a song called Officer Oink,
Yeah.
of course.
End of conversation.
Yes, end
That's
of
how we feel about
conversation.
cops.
But like, what's one of like, who here thinks they have like the gnarliest cop story from when like their shit got rolled at a show? Like, what show have you been to where like I'm talking like maybe you guys were like in LA and there was like 10 cop cars that roll up and there's a ghetto bird like shining a light into somebody's backyard and they're like about to beat everyone up. Like, have you guys ever experienced
I've been,
that?
now that I remember there's 2 shows where there've been like a shitload of like cops, like in like ghetto birds and shit.
Yeah.
There's one that you guys know about, the Youth Brigade,
The TSOL.
ill repute at the Key Club. That was like 2 years ago,
Yeah.
like in January. Apparently there was like a fight right outside the Key Club, like while the show was happening, because like I guess the guy was drunk and like they didn't let him in and shit.
Yeah.
So then I heard like that same guy cracked the 40, cracked the bottle on one of the security guards, and it was like a big ass
Yeah,
fire
I
and shit.
heard that somebody
Yeah,
had
the
a
head.
head injury.
Yeah.
Something about a head injury, and like that's
then
all I heard about it.
Yeah, and shitload of cops that came
escalated
by
into
and
a
they stopped
riot.
the show. We had no one in the show and shit.
Yeah.
And then it's like
Yeah.
we just had like they like pretty much stopped the show, so everyone had to leave, and no one wanted to leave, and then it was like well pissed and
Hiding in the
shit.
parking lot, having
Yeah.
rubber bullets shot at them.
Yeah, and like a lot of there's like rubber bullets and shit, and just like
Yeah.
cops just like fucking and kids like throwing like fucking rocks at the cops and
Yeah.
shit, and just like
Riot shit.
yeah, it was pretty intense, I guess.
Yeah, cops suck, but here, like, most of the time it's just like, okay, you all have to leave this show now. Like, I haven't
Yeah.
seen, like, I mean, there's still crazy shit that they do here, but it's like,
It just
most
gets
parties I've
really-
been to that have been rolled, it's just like, okay, just leave.
Yeah, it just
like,
gets really quiet all of a sudden. And
yeah,
everybody
it's
just
like,
gets-
oh,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Isn't Santa Cruz?
And it's always like 8:30 at night on a Saturday, so it's like, clearly gotta be quiet, guys, you know?
Yeah.
Santa
Yeah.
Cruz.
It's really repressive. I think that maybe
Yeah, it's like passive aggressive
we
cops.
need to
Yeah.
shake things up a bit. I don't know,
Yeah.
but
Next time they show
There's
up.
more of us than there is.
Give them something to-
Let's
Yeah.
pin them
we
to the
should
ground.
just
cut off
invite
the
all the
communication,
kids from
and
San
still have the show.
Jose. Like, just invite all the kids from San Jose.
Yeah.
Just be like, hey, even though nobody from Santa Cruz likes people from San Jose, I don't know why. That's,
Really?
Anyway,
I love San
no, a
Jose.
lot of local kids don't like them. They say Valley go home. That's all actually. But anyway, this isn't about Santa Cruz. This is
Scene
about you
politics,
guys,
yes.
and
Okay.
this is about okay.
Peroxide
Yes, Peroxide Youth. Let's talk about ska.
Scott.
Let's talk about ska.
Bro, sit.
Pick it up where we left off, yeah.
So why this is for like more Chris and like Gary. Like, why do you think that ska is so accessible to the Latino
To Latino
community?
culture. Oh, I was thinking a few years ago, like, why are there so many Mexican ska bands? What the fuck? But I mean, I think if anybody who's been in any like barrio, they've heard like banda music, and it's just like bum 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 bum.
Yeah.
Bum. What's the bass gonna do? Dun, 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 dun. It's the same thing, you know, like
Yeah.
kind of sort of with like trumpets, trombones, you know. But I think it's just kind of like an adaptation to being in, I guess, a Hispanic community, and they kind of mix it in with like punk also. But
Yeah.
I think it has like a certain flavor and like communication that like regular punk or like just anything else can communicate. So
Essentially, like, you can still like write a corrido
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
like a ska band. Like, you can
Yeah.
still tell a story. Like, maybe like your friend like got in a bunch of trouble and he went
Yeah.
to jail, and then his like old lady cheated on him.
Yeah.
And, like, and then that's why you don't do dumb shit.
Por eso sí te
Corrido,
vas, pues, vete.
right there. So, yeah, that's what, actually I think that that's also true, because like you have the conjuntos norteños
Yeah.
coming up here, and then like you have like local bands like La Plebe. They played
Yeah.
last night. They sold out the show,
yeah.
and there was so many like people there of Latino descent, and it's just like it feels good to
Yeah.
like be in that kind of setting and like be able to identify with the music and stuff.
There's like just like a lot of instrumentation and a lot of texture that you can make with ska that you can't really get with anything else. So I think it's just like kind of mutually intelligible. Kind of sounds like bachata sometimes if you have like the right soloist, but it's kind of complex.
Yeah,
So it's good music.
yeah.
Oh no, but also something that we brought up earlier was like the reason that why we wanted to do ska music was because like in freshman year we're like all about Crack Rock Steady and Choke Me B and Get
Oh
Lost.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we just kind of wanted to emulate
Yeah, like
sort of music like that.
when I met like Chris and Gary freshman year, I was just like, there's this band, Stupid Henchmen, they're amazing, and you know we're getting into that and Ghetto Blaster, so we really labeled ourselves as like a ska punk band for the longest time, and now it's like, what do we have, like one ska punk song?
Yeah.
Like,
And then you jokingly said-
well, there for a while there weren't any ska songs.
Yeah.
Like, we're a ska band. No ska songs.
Yeah.
And then you jokingly said by senior year we're gonna be a full-on power violence band. Lo and behold,
We're pretty
people
close.
kind of
We're
consider
close.
us.
We got another few weeks, you know. Good time.
Yeah, I don't know. I think people are gonna hear whatever they want to hear, and like if
Yeah.
they like what they hear, it's good.
Power street ska.
Yeah,
So-
we're ska rust.
So that's what you guys want to be classified. I mean, do you
I-
guys
I-
want to be classified? I mean, like, because the thing is,
Like-
like, this
I want to be
area,
stereotyped.
this area, I feel that, like, I don't know, like, there's a lot of tolerance, like,
This
as
area.
far as like labeling things,
Okay.
like, but I think that when people go to shows, they want to know what they like
Mhm.
are going to see. They
Yeah.
want to know, like, well, like, there's a show at this house. It's like, okay, who's playing? Like,
Yeah.
this people, like, do you know who they are? No. Like, do you
But they
at
play,
least
like,
What kind of
do
music?
you at least know like what they're
Mhm.
going to sound like? And it's just like, well,
Yeah, I feel like genre is the only label that people are okay with. You know, it's.
Yeah.
I mean, it's helpful.
Yeah, as far as describing like what something sounds like, so it could like pique somebody else's interest. But
yeah.
I
Yeah.
think some bands are harder to describe than others, and those are the more interesting ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I still think of us as like a street punk band just because that's what we all listen to, and that's kind of like when I think of Officer Oink and the other ones, they're like street punk. But after the Zombie House a few weeks ago, a guy just came up to me and he's like, yeah man, like I really like Power Balance, really like your band. I was like, are you a Power Balance
Yeah.
band? And
We
he's
have
just like,
Power-
aren't you? And I was like,
Wait,
I don't
since
know
when?
man, like if you know, so if people like it, that's fine. If they don't, that's fine. But like
Mhm.
people can call us whatever they want. I just think of us as a general punk band, and
Yeah.
we just play the kind of music we like, which is why it's a little scattered, you know. But it's just
Loud,
like,
fast and angry.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
just
Yes.
Just like our
we
sex.
just enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah, just drunk street punk, you know, having a good time, you know.
I like that answer. I like that
Bet you
answer a
do.
lot. Anybody?
Show next weekend,
Show next
Oh, yeah.
weekend.
Show
at Fella
next
House.
weekend.
Fella House.
Respect the spot.
Ted's
I don't-
Approval, great band, go see him.
With Vomix.
Vomix.
Too bad Back Alley Abortions couldn't make it out there. Just wanted to play some more ska punks, but there's only so many
Yeah.
bands that a house can house.
It's
so,
probably gonna be one of our last shows too.
Yeah.
What?
Let's do it.
So
'Cause
everybody
this
should
guy-
come out.
Ay Dios.
Yeah,
what are you
Gary's
talking
moving
about?
to DC.
Yo, alright everybody, you should come out to the show next weekend, and we're gonna be passing out these demos. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Got the fucking Gary
Yeah.
Alvarez artwork up in here.
Gary.
Yeah.
Gary.
We're planning to record all of our songs and have them done by the time he leaves over spring break.
Mhm.
And then I'm
What?
also hoping that we're gonna have one like final show when he comes back for graduation in
Yeah,
June.
like June.
But I mean, these guys are moving to SoCal eventually. Like we're staying up here, so it's just kind of like rather than be like somebody gets to keep the band and like there's
Oh,
new
yeah.
people and it's just kind of like, you know.
We can
so-
call
So
it
this is like,
indefinite hiatus.
Yeah,
I
we're all
suppose.
friends and it's like.
but this is kind of
Yeah.
far away. Like, I mean,
I mean, like, probably
how?
from-
Like no, like
You know, they say
from happening, like eventually, like
Yeah.
Oh, from
like
breaking it up
actually
a little.
happening.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you're
Well,
scaring me.
I mean, I'm leaving in a matter of weeks to go
Oh, yeah.
study in
Yeah.
DC.
Spring
Figure out how
quarters
Oh my
where to
God.
But I mean, we got what we
Bullshit
wanted out of this
systems
band.
from the inside.
We just wanted to have a good time,
Don't
play some
leave.
shows.
like what bands we like.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy with it. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
It
know.
would be awesome if we could do it a little longer. But
Yeah, I know. People like us now. It's like, oh man, oh, senior year. But,
Yeah, just want to give a shout out to everybody who's giving us shows, like Bernadette
yeah.
Munoz from San Jose.
Yeah, and San Jose Punks.
Yeah.
You guys are fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyone
Thanks,
who's booked us a show, played with us.
Santa
Yeah.
Cruz punks.
Anyone who's
Oh, yeah,
danced for
Santa, yeah,
us.
Santa Cruz.
Shout out to the Max House when people used to live there. Now it's a bro house.
When people used to mosh.
Yeah. Shout out to the Zombie House. Thanks for having us.
Fella House.
Fella House for having us for the second time.
Next week.
Oh, yeah, for reals.
Yeah.
It's all about the fella home in Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Respect the spot.